The Galactic Council chamber had witnessed wars, extinctions, and the fall of ancient empires. Yet laughter echoed through it now, loud and careless. Earth's representative stood alone at the center platform, surrounded by towering delegates, whose civilizations measured their histories in millions of years. Holographic banners floated above the chamber, each marking a species that had conquered stars long before humanity learned to crawl. The motion before the council was simple. Earth requested revised trade protections, defensive autonomy, and recognition as a sovereign military power to the elder races. It was a joke. The Aurelian speaker, all crystalline limbs and radiant eyes, tilted its head in mock curiosity and asked how a species barely spacefaring for a few centuries dared demand equal standing. The Drakari warlord laughed openly, his talons clicking against the marble floor as he recalled when his people had enslaved the Earth colonies during humanity's first expansion attempts. Even the neutral archivists recorded the moment with a tone that suggested inevitability rather than sympathy. They reminded Earth of the treaties humanity had signed in desperation centuries ago. Treaties that limited ship tonnage, restricted weapons research, and placed human fleets under council oversight. Treaties signed after Earth's early defeats. When humanity begged not to be erased, the speaker projected ancient battle footage of human vessels burning in vacuum, primitive hulls, weak shields, crews screaming as alien cannons tore through them. The chamber roared with approval. Earth's representative did not interrupt. She waited, hands folded, expression calm. Her name was Ambassador Holly, and she had been chosen not for her diplomacy, but for her restraint. When silence finally returned, Halle spoke softly. She thanked the council for reminding humanity of its past. She acknowledged Earth's former weakness, fear, and ignorance. Then she said something that made several delegates lean forward. She said Earth was withdrawing its request. Confusion rippled through the chamber, followed by renewed laughter. The Drakari warlord sneered and asked if humanity had finally accepted its place. The Aurelian speaker offered mock condolences and suggested Earth focus on cultural exports instead of power. Ambassador Holly nodded once, then she activated a small device at her wrist. Across the chamber, treaty glyphs began to flicker. She announced that Earth was not withdrawing its request. Earth was withdrawing from every treaty entirely. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council fell silent. The archivists reacted first, their data streams spiking as ancient agreements unraveled. Simultaneously, thousands of binding clauses, mutual defense pacts, and enforced limitations dissolved in a single synchronized act. The council demanded an explanation, but Earth had already spoken. Ambassador Holly reminded them that treaties required mutual respect to remain valid. Ridicule, coercion, and enforced stagnation constituted breach. Humanity had endured those breaches for centuries. The Drakari warlord rose from his seat and threatened sanctions, blockades, and military correction. He spoke confidently, recalling how easily his fleets once crushed human resistance. What he did not know was how outdated his intelligence had become. Earth had followed every rule publicly, privately. Humanity had learned, adapted, and evolved. They had studied alien weapons, not to copy them, but to surpass them, while restricted from building warships above certain mass limits. Humans built distributed fleets of modular vessels, while forbidden from researching certain energy weapons. They perfected kinetic and gravitational alternatives, while denied standing armies beyond their system. They built something far more dangerous. They built readiness. Ambassador Holly announced that Earth no longer recognized council authority over human space. Colonies, or fleets, human patrol zones expanded instantly on star charts, pushing into regions once reserved for elder powers. Council satellites, monitoring human territory, went dark one by one. Not destroyed, but politely disabled. The Aurelian speaker accused Earth of suicidal arrogance. Hela responded with calm precision, stating that humanity had calculated the odds and found them acceptable. Behind the scenes, messages flooded council channels. Trade routes near human space reported unknown fleets, moving at impossible speeds. Listening posts detected energy signatures that did not match any known weapon system. The laughter from earlier felt distant now, replaced by unease. Halle concluded her address by stating that Earth bore no hostility toward peaceful civilizations, but humanity would no longer accept a universe where survival depended on permission. She ended with a warning. Any attempt to enforce the old treaties would be treated as an act of war. The council session ended in chaos. Delegates argued, threatened, and panicked for the first time. They were not certain who held the advantage. The first response came from the Drakari Imperium, exactly as humanity predicted. A punitive fleet crossed into former treaty-protected space, broadcasting demands for immediate surrender. They expected fear, delay, negotiation. Instead, they encountered silence. Human fleets emerged from folded space without warning, not from hyperspace lanes, but from localized gravitational distortions. Their ships were smaller than Drakari dreadnoughts, yet moved with terrifying precision, weapons fired without visible charge, bending space itself as targets vanished into compressed singularities. The battle lasted less than 8 minutes. Not a single human ship was lost. The Drakari fleet ceased to exist, reduced to scattered particles and stunned survivors drifting in vacuum. Across the galaxy, similar encounters unfolded. Blockades dissolved before they formed. Sanctioned fleets vanished before firing a shot. Humanity did not conquer. They demonstrated. Captured enemy crews retreated, fed, and returned home with recordings of the engagements. A message accompanied every release. This was restraint. Earth's colonies declared full autonomy under Unified Defense Command. Human shipyards revealed production capacities that dwarfed Council projections. Artificial intelligence systems coordinated strategy at speeds no organic species could match. The elder races realized the truth too late. Humanity had not stagnated under restriction. It had refined itself. The archivists updated their records, reclassifying Earth from emerging power to existential variable. The Council called emergency sessions, but Earth did not attend. Instead, humanity broadcast a galaxy-wide message. They stated their intent clearly. They sought coexistence without hierarchy, trade without coercion, and peace without humiliation. Any species willing to meet humanity as equals would find them generous allies. Any species attempting domination would find something else entirely. The universe listened. Without Earth's present. The Council felt smaller, weaker. Internal divisions widened as member states questioned the value of ancient authority that failed to protect them. Several minor civilizations announced immediate withdrawal, citing humanity's example. Trade alliances shifted overnight. Species once exploited by elder powers sought bilateral agreements with Earth instead. Human negotiators offered fair terms, transparency, and something rare in galactic politics: trust. The Aurelian speaker attempted to rally a unified response, but fear had replaced arrogance. Every projection showed the same outcome. Escalation meant annihilation. Council monitoring stations near human space continued to go dark, not destroyed, simply rendered irrelevant. Human technology bypassed surveillance without effort. The archivists quietly began copying their greatest knowledge vaults into secure locations. They understood that power had shifted, and history was being rewritten. The Council eventually issued a formal apology. They acknowledged centuries of exploitation, mockery, and enforced inferiority. They requested negotiations under revised terms. Earth responded after 3 days of silence. Humanity accepted the apology, but not the Council. Ambassador Hale transmitted Earth's final position. The Galactic Council would no longer govern interstellar relations. A new framework would emerge. Decentralized, voluntary, and equal. The old chamber lights dimmed, for the first time since its founding. The Council adjourned without authority. Humanity did not build an empire. They dismantled the idea that empires were necessary. In the years that followed, independent alliances formed organically. Trade routes flourished without forced tribute. Shared defense pacts replaced domination. Earth became a hub, not a throne. A place where species met without fear of ridicule, where strength was respected, but not worshipped. Stories of the Council's laughter faded into legend, replaced by a simpler truth. Humanity had never sought revenge. They sought dignity. When Earth was ridiculed, they endured. When they were constrained, they adapted. And when they were finally pushed too far, they ended every treaty overnight. The galaxy learned a lesson that day. Never mistake patience for weakness, and never assume silence means surrender, because when humanity stands, the universe listens.